Having a cosy little bolt hole somewhere near the sea is a dream for many of us. And certainly the affordable route to getting your very own holiday home could be to buy a static caravan. After all, they come with all mod coms, and they're usually in rather picturesque settings. And certainly they've provided a wonderful getaway in years of happy family holidays for thousands of people. Well, we've been hearing from a group of owners who tell us that for them, the dream has soured. Why? Well, that's because of a change in rules at the park where they have their vans. And it means that caravans in which they've invested years of time and money in refurbishing are now destined for the scrap heap. Scenes like this evoke memories of the British boom in caravanning, which started in the post-war period and peaked in the 60s, when 1 in 7 holidays was in a caravan. Recollections of childhood holidays that are cherished by Linda Mackay from Pontefract, whose family were regulars at caravan parks in and around Skegness.
Looking back on all these memories of previous holidays with my children, my parents, makes me feel extremely lucky that I've had the opportunity to do that.
After both her parents passed away, she hoped to continue the family's caravanning tradition with her own children. In June 2018, Linda and her sister Alison used an inheritance to buy a static caravan in Skegness.
When I think back to my childhood memories, it makes me warm and happy, and we want to recreate those memories with our families.
The 2-bedroom, 6-berth caravan was built in 1998 and sits on the site of the Fantasy Island theme park. It cost the family around £9,000 and they pay around £3,250 a year for the pitch at the site.
Yes, madam.
For most of 2020, the site has been closed, so the family has been relaxing at home in their summer house, reflecting on memories of better times spent in the caravan.
The first holiday was, it was brilliant, because this is mine. You know, we own something. It was lovely.
There we go, enjoy.
There's more to discover.
Part of the appeal of the caravan was its location at Fantasy Island. This 2019 advert for the theme park boasts lots of family fun with over 30 rides and attractions.
Come for the day or stay for the week. Fantasy Island, Inglemells. We're closer than you think.
Fantasy Island is a theme park, so there's big rides. They have a pyramid with all sorts of different activities in. Plenty of places to eat. There's loads of entertainment.
Right from the start, Linda and her family knew that owners were expected to make sure caravans were well maintained and to keep up with the site fees, and that's exactly what they've done.
We've put new flooring in, new carpets, new beds and new mattresses so that they're really comfortable. Everything's brand new there.
Linda reckons that they've spent around £5,000 getting the caravan just how they want it.
It's just lovely inside. It is. It was nice when we got it, and it's even nicer now.
But then in September 2020, just 2 years after they bought it, Linda received letters saying the rules were about to change for the 340 caravan owners at Fantasy Island.
This is the letter that I received from Fantasy Island, where it states, we will be implementing a maximum age limit on all caravans of 22 years. This means that as of the 1st of March 2022, your caravan must be a year 2000 model or newer, which made me feel absolutely gutted.
As some residents rent out their vans to paying guests, the site owners say this change is necessary to maintain standards for all visitors to Fantasy Island. For Linda and her family, it meant they would have to scrap the caravan, which they'd spent so much time, effort and money on in just over a year.
Ours might be an older caravan, but it certainly does not look like an old caravan. We've put a lot of effort into it. It doesn't need upgrading, and we find this extremely unfair.
When Linda complained to the site owners, she was told that they would buy her much-loved holiday home for £200. Alternatively, they would offer £2,000 as trade-in value towards a newer model. But Linda says that would be just a drop in the ocean.
To look at a decent upgrade that's going to give you a few years left on that site, I think you're looking at a minimum of another £15,000 spend, which is money we don't have. We didn't come by this money very easy. We had to suffer a great loss to get this money. and we thought we were putting it into something that would be really good for all the family.
Linda says moving it to another site isn't really a practical option.
We can move the caravan off the site and sell it elsewhere, but the cost of doing that would probably outweigh what I'd get for the caravan.
Dan Ellicott of the National Association of Caravan Owners says it's not the age limit itself which is the issue.
It's commonplace in the industry to utilise age limits at caravan parks. It's about whether or not the consumer was aware of that at the outset. The problem is that where people spend money and time and effort and invest in these substantial purchases, it's not fair to arbitrarily introduce a specific age limit. We'd like to see something that is based on the actual condition of the unit.
Dan believes some caravan owners are vulnerable because, as in Linda's case, many parks renew their licensing agreement annually. That allows the caravan owners to use the site for just 12 months with no long-term guarantees.
What we'd like to see is something that provides a written agreement with a specific defined period of tenure. Annual agreements allow caravan parks to make changes on an annual basis, and this gives way for something like this to happen at any juncture.
It's because agreements to lease the pitches are renewed 1 year at a time at Fantasy Island that the management has been able to impose an age limit on caravans unexpectedly, as in Linda's case. It's left some owners feeling they've no alternative but to scrap their beloved holiday home. Simon Mullins from Sheffield has enjoyed holidays with his partner and their families at his Fantasy Island caravan for 13 years.
It's an escape for us at the weekends and obviously somewhere to go for a couple of times a year as a main holiday. So it's really key and important to me and my family. We love the area. We do like the site. We love the caravan. We spent thousands on it in upgrading it.
Simon says things started to change at Fantasy Island in 2016 when it was taken over by the Mellors Group, a family-run company specialising in fairgrounds and Christmas markets.
I remember speaking to one of the brothers very, very briefly when they were walking around the site, and one of the things that naturally everybody was worried about is they're a big showman family, they're into theme parks, they're into rides. Where do we fit into all this? And the top and bottom of it is we were told it won't affect us. We want to have caravans on this site. We still want it to be family orientated. So everybody sort of felt safe and secure from that conversation alone, really.
But despite that, Simon says he now faces losing his caravan in less than 12 months.
After 13 years of being on the Fantasy Island site, the only options that I'm left with now is to either upgrade or walk away and leave the site. If I wanted to upgrade to guarantee myself probably in the region of about another 7 to 9 years on site, I would have to pay around £20,000 to upgrade. My only other option, if I can't, which personally I can't afford to do the £20,000. Is to walk away, and that faces where the caravan either gets scrapped, which has a environmental impact, or it's sold on to a dealer, and I would get £300 at best when I walk away. To be now told that we've got the best part of a year left and we have to leave, for me personally, it's very disappointing and it's very upsetting. It does make you angry as well.
And he's not alone. Simon says that several other caravan owners on the site feel similarly concerned about the changes being implemented. He's written to Fantasy Island in the hope of finding a compromise.
I personally reached out to Fantasy Island and asked them if we could have a talk about it. I accept that businesses have to change. Things have to change over time. I agree that the site does need to be upgraded. I would like to think that they would want to come and talk to us, but unfortunately I've had absolutely no response from them since September of this year.
The caravan owner's main complaint is that this new rule has been implemented with little or no consultation. Naomi Wilson, who bought her 15-year-old caravan in July 2020 for £12,000, says she was blindsided by the new contract, which means she'll have to replace her caravan in 7 years.
I went to sign the contract on the 10th of July this year and collect the keys. It was around 8.5 weeks, not quite even 9 weeks later, that I got a letter from Fantasy Island stating that they changed the terms and conditions and was implementing an age ruling on all caravans. This has left my family devastated. We brought the caravan in a central area so my dad could be independent, so that my grandkids could enjoy the area, and everything has just changed. My whole family are devastated.
Legal expert Gary Rycroft believes that this change in contract could be deemed unfair.
For me, the legal situation here is relatively straightforward. The starting point with any kind of contract or agreement is that it can't be changed unilaterally. It has to be changed by mutual agreement between the parties. So in this case, Linda and Simon and the other caravan owners signed up to a particular arrangement, a particular contract or agreement that didn't have a 22-year time limit on it. To bring that new rule in is a unilateral decision by the owners of the site that, in my view, isn't necessarily legally enforceable.
Even though the residents sign new contracts with management every year as a matter of course, Gary still thinks they have strong grounds to challenge the change of terms.
Caravan site owners very often like to renew contracts or licence agreements on an annual basis. So in effect there's a rolling agreement with the caravan owners themselves. Now on the face of it there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, in many ways it makes good sense to revisit these arrangements every year because subtle things do sometimes need to be changed. But when a significant fundamental thing is being changed, it should only be made with the agreement of the two parties and not made unilaterally.
And although some of the owners of older caravans feel they've been given an ultimatum, Gary says there are more options open to them than they might think. He suggests that they challenge the new rule by writing a collective letter to the owners of the park on behalf of all affected residents. They could even consider consulting a lawyer about the fairness of the new contract. We put the residents' complaints to the Mellors Group, which owns Fantasy Island, and it insisted its 22-year age limit was the fairest and most objective way to ensure all visitors received a minimum standard of safety and facilities. It said age limits were common practice in the industry and pointed out that it was offering 7 more years than the 15-year benchmark suggested by the National Association of Caravan Owners. The company insisted that it had engaged in good faith with tenants to make this transition as smooth as possible. While it said it was sympathetic to the small number of customers affected by the change, it pointed to the financial incentives that it was offering to help them. It said that any residents not wishing to accept its part exchange offers are welcome to sell their caravans to independent third parties or move to another site. But while Linda and Simon are now considering the legal avenues open to them, the sudden change in circumstances has left them wondering if they want to stay at Fantasy Island any longer.
If we had the funds, which we don't, we would consider upgrading, possibly. But to be honest, after the way they've treated everybody and not played fair, I don't think I'd want to stay. That's not the kind of family I want to be in.
What I would like to happen is I would like Fantasy Island to come and talk to us. But what I think is going to happen in reality is come October next year that I will just walk away from my caravan and so will hundreds of other owners.